All right, and I am going to share my screen so we can watch a video on the power of mindfulness before we start our meditation. Can everybody see my screen, the TEDx? All right.
If in rush hour traffic, you can remain perfectly calm. If you can see your neighbors travel to fantastic places without a twinge of jealousy. If you can love everyone around you unconditionally. And if you can always find contentment just where you are, then you're probably a dog. Right? We hold ourselves to these unrealistic standards of perfection, and then we judge ourselves when we don't live up to them. The thing is, we're not supposed to be perfect. Perfection isn't possible, but transformation is. All of us have the capacity to change, to learn, and to grow, no matter what our circumstances. As a professor and scientist, I study how people change, how people transform. And one of the most effective vehicles I've found is mindfulness. My own journey into mindfulness was unexpected. When I was 17, I had spinal fusion surgery, a metal rod put in my spine. I went from a healthy, active teenager to lying in a hospital bed, unable to walk. And during the many months of rehabilitation, I tried to figure out how to live in this body that could no longer do what it used to. The physical pain was difficult, but worse was the fear and the loneliness. And I simply didn't have the tools to cope. So I began searching for something that could help. And eventually this search led me to a monastery in Thailand for my first meditation retreat. At the monastery, the monks didn't speak much English and I didn't speak any Thai, but I understood mindfulness had something to do with paying attention in the present moment. My only instruction was to feel the breath going in and out of my nose. So I began. 1 breath, 2 breaths. My mind wandered off. I brought it back. 1 breath, 2 breaths. It wandered again, sucked into the past or lost in the future. And no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't stay present. Now, this was frustrating because I thought meditation was supposed to feel like this. And instead, it felt more like this. Being present isn't so easy. In fact, check it out for yourself. I've been speaking for about 3 minutes. Have you noticed your mind has wandered? All of our minds wander. Research from Harvard shows the mind wanders on average 47% of the time. 47%. That's almost half of our lives that we're missing, that we're not here. So part of mindfulness is simply learning to train the mind in how to be here where we already are. Like right now, let's practice together. Allow your eyes to close and just feel your feet on the floor. Wiggle your toes and sense your whole body sitting here, softening the face, softening the jaw, and notice that you're breathing, feeling the breath as it naturally flows in and out of the body, just being here. And as you're ready, taking a deeper breath in and out, allowing your eyes to open. So, back at the monastery, I was trying hard to do just this, to just be present. But no matter how hard I tried, my mind kept wandering off. And at this point, I really started to judge myself. What is wrong with you? You're terrible at this. Why are you even here? You're a fake. And then not only was I judging myself, I started judging everyone, even the monks. Why are they just sitting here? Shouldn't they be doing something? Thankfully, a monk from London arrived who spoke English. And as I shared with him my struggles, he looked at me and said, "Oh, you're not practicing mindfulness. You're practicing judgment, impatience, frustration." And then he said 5 words that have never left me. What you practice grows stronger. What you practice grows stronger. We know this now with neuroplasticity. Our repeated experiences shape our brain. We can actually sculpt and strengthen our synaptic connections based on repeated practice. For example, in the famous study of London taxi drivers, the visual spatial mapping part of the brain is bigger, stronger. They've been practicing navigating the 25,000 streets of London all day long. When you look at the brains of meditators, the areas related to attention, learning, compassion grow bigger and stronger. It's called cortical thickening, the growth of new neurons in response to repeated practice. What we practice grows stronger. The monk explained to me that if I was meditating with judgment, I was just growing judgment. Meditating with frustration, I'm growing frustration. He helped me understand that mindfulness isn't just about paying attention. It's about how we pay attention, with kindness. He said it's like these loving arms that welcome everything, even the messy, imperfect parts of ourselves. He also pointed out that we're practicing all the time, moment by moment, not just when we're meditating, but in every moment. We're growing something in every moment. So the question really becomes, what do you want to grow? What do you want to practice? When I left Thailand, I wanted to keep practicing mindfulness, and I wanted to understand it scientifically. So I began a PhD program, eventually became a professor, and I've spent the past 20 years investigating the effects of mindfulness across a wide range of populations, including veterans with PTSD, patients with insomnia, women with breast cancer, stressed out college students, high-level business executives. And over, the data showed two key things. First, mindfulness works. It's good for you. It strengthens our immune functioning, it decreases stress, decreases cortisol, helps us sleep better. When we published our first research back in '98, there were only a handful of studies. Now there are thousands of studies showing the beneficial effects of mindfulness. It's good for us. The second thing we learned was quite unexpected. Almost all the people we were working with, regardless of their age, their gender, their background, were talking about the same thing. This underlying sense of, I'm not good enough, I'm not okay, I'm not living this life right. This tremendous self-judgment and shame. And we all know what they were talking about because shame is universal. All of us feel it. And worse, we have this mistaken belief that if we shame ourselves, if we beat ourselves up, we'll somehow improve. And yet, shame doesn't work. Shame never works. It can't work. Literally, physiologically, it can't work because when we feel shame, the centers of the brain that have to do with growth and learning shut down. This fMRI shows the brain on shame. What happens is the amygdala triggers a cascade of norepinephrine and cortisol to flood our system, shutting down the learning centers and shuttling our resources to survival pathways. Shame literally robs the brain of the energy it needs to do the work of changing. And worse, when we feel shame, we want to avoid it. So we hide from those parts of ourselves we're ashamed of, the parts that most need our attention. It's just too painful to look at them. So what's the alternative? Kind attention. First, kindness gives us the courage to look at those parts of ourselves we don't want to see. And second, kindness bathes us with dopamine, turning on the learning centers of the brain and giving us the resources we need to change. True and lasting transformation requires kind attention. And the monk's words echoed in my ears. Mindfulness isn't just about attention, it's about kind attention. This attitude of kindness wasn't just a footnote or something nice to have, it was an essential part of the practice, a part of mindfulness that's so often overlooked. So my colleagues and I developed a model of mindfulness that explicitly includes our attitude and our intention, as well as our attention. All three parts working together synergistically. Put simply, mindfulness is intentionally paying attention with kindness. We use this model while working at the Veterans Hospital for a group of men with PTSD. I was shocked to learn that we lose more veterans to suicide each year than to combat. Our soldiers carry so much pain and shame. So the intention of the mindfulness group was to cultivate this kind attention, even for the seemingly unforgivable parts of ourselves. There was one man in the group who never said a word, never looked up. 2 months passed, he seemed unreachable. And then one day he raised his hand and he said, I don't want to get better. What I saw in the war, what I did, I don't deserve to get better. He then looked down at the floor and proceeded to tell us in great detail what he had seen and what he had done. And I can still feel the horror of what he shared and how his shame filled the room. I looked up to see how the other men were responding, and there was no judgment, only compassion on their faces. I invited him to look up and to witness this compassion and this kindness. And as he slowly looked around the room, his face began to soften. And in his eyes, there was hope. The possibility that he wasn't just his past actions, that he could choose differently now, that he could change. And this may be one of the most important things I've learned. It's that transformation is possible for all of us, no matter what. And it requires kind attention, not shame. And this kind attention takes practice. It takes lots of practice. I want to share with you a simple practice that continues to help me. Some years ago, I was going through a difficult divorce, and I'd wake up every morning with this pit of shame in my stomach. My meditation teacher suggested an explicit practice of kind attention. She said, how about saying, I love you, Shauna, every day? I thought to myself, no way. It felt so contrived. She saw my hesitation and suggested, how about just saying good morning, Shauna? Oh, and try putting your hand on your heart when you say it. It releases oxytocin. It's good for you, you know. She knew the science would win me over. So the next day, put my hand on my heart, took a breath and said, good morning, Shauna. And it was kind of nice. I continued to practice. And a month later, when I saw her, I admitted how helpful it had been. Wonderful, you've graduated, she said. Now, the advanced practice. Good morning, I love you, Shauna. So the next day, put my hand on my heart, anchored myself and said, good morning, I love you, Shauna. I felt nothing, except maybe a little ridiculous, but definitely not love. But I kept practicing because, as we know, what we practice grows stronger. And then one day I put my hand on my heart, took a breath. Good morning, I love you, Shauna. And I felt it. I felt my grandmother's love. I felt my mother's love. I felt my own self-love. And I wish I could tell you that every day since then has been this bubble of self-love and I've never felt shame or judgment again. And that's not true. But what is true is this pathway of kind attention has been established and it's growing stronger every day. So I want to invite you tomorrow to put your hand on your heart and say good morning. And if you're really brave, good morning, I love you. Thank you.
All right. Give me one moment and we're going to get into our meditation. Okay.
Hi, this is Jess. Cultivating self-compassion has been one of the most valuable practices in my life, and at times the most difficult. There's an all too common habit in our culture to beat ourselves up, to believe that we are not good enough, In this meditation, we're going to practice receiving the kindness and love other people have offered us to awaken that kindness for ourselves. Reflecting on compassion from others can strengthen the pathways of self-compassion. It's vital for us to really receive kindness before we can offer it to ourselves or others. So let's give it a try. Sit comfortably and allow your eyes to close. Take a few deep breaths. And as you exhale, invite the muscles of your face to soften. Relax your eyes and your jaw. Shoulders release down.
Hello. Hi.
And soften your belly.
What are you doing?
The weight of your body.
Listening in on a meditation program. It's okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Just rocking right now.
Are you going to your office?
No, I'm going to the movies.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Lost it. Sorry, guys. Don't know why. Can everybody hear me? I don't know why we cannot hear this anymore. I just muted Sue. Okay, let me stop sharing and see if we can start again. Sorry about that.
Hi, this is Jess. Cultivating self-compassion has been one of the most valuable practices in my life, and at times the most difficult. There's an all too common habit in our culture to beat ourselves up, to believe that we are not good enough. In this meditation, we're going to practice receiving the kindness and love other people have offered us to awaken that kindness for ourselves. Reflecting on compassion from others can strengthen the pathways of self-compassion. It's vital for us to really receive kindness before we can offer it to ourselves or others. So let's give it a try. Sit comfortably and allow your eyes to close. Take a few deep breaths. And as you exhale, invite the muscles of your face to soften. Relax your eyes and your jaw. Let your shoulders release down away from your ears. And soften your belly. Just feel the weight of your body supported by the chair and the floor underneath you. Now, bring to mind someone who has been kind to you. Someone you have felt loved by, a partner, a friend, perhaps a grandparent or a teacher. This doesn't have to be the perfect person. You could think about simply a moment in your life when you felt cared about, loved, or appreciated. This could even be a stranger who offered you a moment of generosity. And bring this person to mind. You might remember the last time you were with them and how it felt to be in their presence. get an image of this moment and this person. Where were you? What was happening? What did it feel like? The image of this person and the feeling of being with them is the home base for your attention in this meditation. So whenever your mind gets distracted, just bring it back to the image and the feeling of being with this person. Really connect with the memory of that moment in time, the feeling of being loved and cared for, the feeling of being offered kindness. You can explore this some on your own. As you see this person in your mind, reflect on how they feel about you. You might think about kind things they've said to you. Think about what they might appreciate or love about you. And reflect on what they wish for you. They likely want you to be happy, to feel safe, to be healthy. As you keep the image of this person in your mind, see their kind wishes in their eyes. You might hear their voice sending you these wishes. They're wishing for you to be happy, to be safe, to be healthy. And keep bringing your attention back to the image of this person in your mind, the feeling of being with them. As you inhale, you might imagine receiving their care. And then as you exhale, allow yourself to relax, to soften, letting the care and generosity sink in. So with each inhale, receiving the kindness from this person, imagining this person's wishes for you, you might choose a word or a phrase and imagine them offering this to you. May you be happy, safe, healthy. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to the image of this person, the feeling of what it was like to be offered kindness. Just repeating a word or phrase if that helps you stay connected. Happy, healthy. And you can stay with this person or see if someone else comes to mind, another situation where you felt really cared about and attended to, where you experienced generosity and care and kindness. Again, connect with the image and feeling of this person, of receiving kindness and care. Breathing in and receiving that kindness. Exhaling, letting it soak in. And reflect on what they wish for you. Probably wish for you to be happy, to feel safe, to be well. You can repeat a word or phrase and allow yourself to really absorb this kindness and well-wishing. As this practice comes to a close, you might offer some appreciation back to this person or people. You might imagine yourself saying, "Thank you for being so kind. May you be happy." Now take a few moments to enjoy any sense of ease and well-being you feel. Taking a few deep breaths and feeling your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. As you go into your day, try and remember this sense of being loved and lovable. If you find yourself feeling low, you can always bring these people to mind and remember that they are wishing you well. They want you to be happy and at ease. Thank you for your practice. May you be happy. Hi, this is Jess.
All right. Does anybody have any comments or anything they want to share? Kimberly.
Well, I came to this session, full of gripes about being put off with my concerns, and was really focusing on how bad that felt. But as I was thinking about some kindnesses that I've received, it was like, wait, there's a lot of kindness out there, and it's easy in your stress or unease to forget that there are people that really care about what's happening to you in a way that moves you, not just when you're talking in a busy way, somebody's responding to you, but when somebody makes an effort to reach out or to express a concern or to let you know that they really were thinking about you in a particular moment. It's pretty powerful. At least that when I thought about it, I was like, wow, I've had a lot of those experiences, and it is incredibly powerful.
Great. Thank you. Nancy, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, just a quick remark, because actually I started getting tears in my eyes thinking about some people and the kindness that they have offered, so makes me grateful and gives me something to rest on for the day, just to, if you can start every day. I like the way the girl was talking about doing that every morning. It seems kind of silly when you think about it, but actually I don't think it is. So I think I may try that just to see. So, yeah, thanks very much.
Great, thank you, Nancy. Sue,
Yeah, I really appreciate the teaching aspects of the Mindful Mondays. It really, it's so much better than just saying, okay, we're going to meditate for 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Very, very nice. Thank you.
you're welcome. I'm glad. Anybody else have anything they want to add? All right. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Well, as I was thinking about it, because I've been just in a state for the last almost week, I thought, that is really, it's like I used to have my students keep a joy journal. And it's like, when did I forget how powerful that was? And so as I'm sitting here and thinking about the last 18 months, I'm making a list of little things and they might be little, but things that really struck me so that I have a list to go to. So when I'm really feeling, I don't know, forgotten or rotten or annoyed or whatever, I can look at my list and go, yeah, but that was a pretty powerful moment. So I'm just jotting these little moments down and I'm feeling like my head feels better, my heart feels better. Just thinking about the kindness that I've received in so many ways. So I'm making a list.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. I will send out the recording and also the separate links. And Dottie, I will resend you last week's. Thank you all. You're so welcome. Hopefully we'll see you next Monday. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day.